Call the order of the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission held today on the 13th day of October 2022. I'd like to give the invocation. I'd like to see if James will give that, please, sir.
Father God, as we come with thanksgiving in our heart. Father, we ask that you bless this county, bless this town, bless this nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Loopy, do we have any remarks from visitors?
No, sir. Everyone here is for an item on the agenda.
Okay, so then that would go right into item number 4, which is conduct a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comments and testimony regarding the subdivision variance application submitted by the City of Navasota by Ante Development LLC for the property located along Laredo Street in North LaSalle, Business 6, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas 77868. The subdivision variance application request to vary from the Chapter 10 subdivision regulations, Exhibit A, Subdivision Development Ordinance, Article 7, requirement for improvements, reservations and design, Section 7.13, regulations of cluster mailbox unit by not providing required off-street parking for the cluster mailbox area. The properly affected is legally described as A002 D. Arnold, Track 11, Par 10, acres 17.675. We'll open at 6:02. Loopy?
Vice Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission, good evening. So to briefly summarize the first item, so Ante Development LLC is requesting a subdivision variance from 7.13 regulation of cluster mailbox units. They are requesting to not provide off-street parking to the cluster area. In your first page of your staff report, right under the exhibit that shows you in a red box where they're proposing the pad is basically their main reasoning. They're stating they don't want to be off of the main street on Laredo, and primarily because Hillside Avenue is only owned on one side by the development. The property to the east is owned by the church, and so that side of the street will never have homes built, or unless the church decides to sell, right? But for now it's church property, and so that side is going to be underutilized. So they're requesting to place their cluster between the sidewalk and back of curb. There's about 4 feet there that they'll be able to do a pad site for the covered cluster mailbox area. Jeff Robertson with McLaren Brown Engineering, he's here representing the application. If y'all have any questions.
Mister, could you please step up? Yes, sir. Just state your name and address, please.
Good evening, Jeff Robertson, McClure & Brown Engineering. We're located at 1008 Wood Creek Drive in College Station. So we appreciate y'all considering this tonight, but Lupe did a really good job summarizing it. We're trying to just keep the mailboxes off of Laredo Street and keep it internal to the subdivision. We picked that location because it is going to be just, it's not going to have driveways on that side of the street, and that type of configuration where we put a pad between the curb and the sidewalk is very common in many other subdivisions that we designed, and so that was kind of the logic behind doing it that way, versus putting it on Laredo Street where you'd have cars merging, trying to get over to the mailbox cluster with oncoming traffic. So we just thought this was a better location, but I'd be happy to answer any questions y'all have.
I have a couple.
Yes,
so is this mailbox cluster going to service the entire phase 1, 2, 3, 4?
There's one other location in the back of the development that has been identified on the preliminary plan, and that would serve roughly the back half of the development.
Okay.
And it's located in a common area that's in the back corner next to the tire shop.
So there's like 100 and
I think
Three
there's
houses?
88.
105, I believe.
105?
Oh, I'm sorry, 105. So
So half the
50-ish.
boxes will be up front and the other half will be in the back whenever
Yes, sir.
that comes around.
Yes, sir. I think if they end up having to do it on Laredo Street, that probably would serve the entire community because of the investment of putting that in there on Laredo.
Oh, I see it here.
Yes, so that's where the other one would be located, and it's in phase 4.
So the one that's being proposed tonight would go here. This is Laredo Street, and these are the two entrances. So this is the first one, and then the second one is here in this kind of triangle property right here.
Is the intent to put a pullover there for a car? Or is it just going to be in the curb the same way as the 31?
So we're proposing to do it with just between the curb and the sidewalk with no turnout.
We're going to wind up doing this again?
Unless a motion is made that, that both variances could be approved, or, we could do it in that phase. I mean, that's phase 4, so we're a little bit out from that point. But I guess that you have to do that one pretty quick to accommodate the other phases, so.
Right.
Can we go back to the first proposal? So, the proposed where the mailbox is going, they would have to park on the street to get the mail?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you mentioned that you had done a similar mailbox sites with some of your other plans. Do you have any photographs of that we could look through?
I do not have any with me. In College Station, a couple of examples. Pebble Creek, we've done them that way. Greenbrier, which is a Bryan subdivision. I think Rudder Point, which is another Bryan subdivision, we've done them in that manner.
My son lives in Colorado. I mean, it's totally off state, but they have something very similar to this. And I asked, they have 156 houses in their subdivision. They have 2 places, and it's more centrally located within the neighborhood and not like on an ingress or egress street. And he says that most people, I mean, it's not a big deal with traffic. They stop and get their mail and be out. But most people, being that it's more centrally located within the neighborhood, they actually walk to go get their mail. And I was telling Loopy today when I kind of when I drove by there to kind of see what layout was. But shoot, man, I mean, there's no houses there, but there's already people using the sidewalks. So I mean, that was just one concern that I had about.
But it is the primary street coming into the...
It is one of the 2 primary streets coming into the neighborhood. So, but otherwise you really don't have a good place to put it.
Yeah, that was kind of the issue, is just locating it. It's due to the kind of the size of the lots. So there's not a lot of room on the kind of the end caps of the blocks, which would be kind of a normal space to put that.
And so, I mean, I guess another question I have is, you have phase 1 and phase 2. The mailboxes for phase 2 would be serviced by the initial, and then phase 3.
Phase 3 and 4 would be serviced by the one in the back. I don't know if it's like exactly by phase, because we try to break it up, even
Sure.
lot numbers. And it might be we end up building phase 4 before phase 3, just so we can have that.
Logistics.
And that's probably makes sense too, because the drainage also comes that way, so we'd want to build the infrastructure probably in phase 4 before we build phase 3.
I see.
I believe they have enough demand in phase 1. I think we've already started designing phase 2, so it's coming soon, hopefully.
So in looking at the lot layout, there's one lot that's, why can't you square that up and use that area? It's almost like a rectangle not a rectangle, but a triangle at the bottom part.
Which lot?
What lot number is that?
Lot 4. I think
That's
that's what,
6.
is it 6?
This one is 6. It's 4, 5, 6.
I can't see. That's
Sorry.
tiny
I
print.
I'm looking out
Yeah.
my bifocal.
There you go. Yeah, but that's the one I'm speaking of.
The one adjacent to Laredo Street.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's That's where it would go if the variance gets denied. We'd have to do the turnout on Laredo Street, and that's what I was talking about having, because most people are gonna be coming from Business 6, I imagine, and so they'll be going kind of against traffic to turn into the mailbox area.
This is, I have behind you guys the, what Jeff is referencing. So this is if the variance is denied and they provide off-street access, this is directly off of Laredo.
But I understand your concern that most people are coming from the other side, and then they're gonna be pulling in that in the wrong direction, or they have to go past and loop back in.
Either you go in the wrong way or you loop around and come
Yeah.
back. Yes, sir.
And then just behind that is Lot 6 and Lot 7.
Correct. Yeah, and those lots, we didn't have enough room, obviously, to put another lot, so we just, since it was next to Laredo Street, we made those bigger, just because they're gonna have the sidewalk next to them and the street traffic, so we just made those a little bit wider.
Let's not forget about the mailman, too.
Or woman.
Or woman, sorry, male person. You got me.
Okay, do you have any other questions or thoughts? Thank you. Loopy? We're all good? Any other
Yeah.
questions, James? No? Tia?
Do you have a dimension on that piece of Laredo Street?
6 by 4 by 6.
Not the box, the
Oh,
width of the street.
Oh, the width of the
Where
street.
where the proposed turn.
corner, right.
Let's see, I think this has dimensions here. Yeah, it's 88 feet long from one end to the other.
You know the width of the street there? I mean, if somebody was coming from the west and then would go past the island to make the left-hand turn to turn in, is that a reasonable turn?
Yeah, I think most of these streets that are
If you're not
Bardage-
driving an 8-foot dually.
Yeah.
I think that street's 24 feet, in that vicinity, the asphalt width anyway.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the shoulders, if there are shoulders.
Yeah, it's just a bar ditch, but yeah, Laredo kind of varies. There's some areas it's a little bit narrower, some areas. I could try to get it on aerial view. Yeah, it's pretty wide at that point.
There was some concern mentioned in here with the fire hydrant there on Laredo, so where is that? Is that in the same area that we're looking at now?
Yes, the hydrant is, actually I think you can see it on the aerial. I believe it gets closer to the corner here. I don't recall there one being mid-block, Jeff. Yeah, it's mainly on the corner here.
But the pull-off would be,
Yeah, the pull-off will be a little bit off. Yeah, I think you have plenty of separation there. Am I making y'all dizzy?
a little bit.
I had to close my eyes for a second.
Yeah, 24 feet.
Okay. Good call. You remembered. Good call. Debbie, you're quiet. What are you thinking?
This looks chunky. Any other comments? Okay, so we'll close the public hearing at 6:15, which goes to item number 5, consideration and possible action regarding the subdivision variance application submitted by the City of Navasota by Ante Development LLC for the property located along Laredo Street in North LaSalle, Business 6, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868. The subdivision variance application request to vary from the Chapter 10 subdivision regulations, Exhibit A, subdivision development ordinance, Article 7, requirements for improvement, reservations and design, Sections 7.13, regulations for cluster mailbox by not providing required off-street parking for the cluster mailbox. The property affected is legally described as A0002 D. Arnold, Track 11, Par 10, acres 17.675.
And Vice Chairman, Planning and Zoning, before a motion is made, either or, staff would just ask that it be contingent upon council's decision as well. And that's going to be for the final plat, not this, so disregard.
Get in front of yourself.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Any further discussion or comments?
Will it
Does
still
it
have to be
meet, does it meet the
covered or-
criteria for granting the variance?
Let's see. So again, this is one of those items where Planning and Zoning has discretion. Your motion, you will either recommend approval or denial to City Council. And our ordinance gives us some guidance on what those factors should be. So in your staff report, on the third page, or second page actually, there you have letters A through D that outline some of those criterias. So for example, one of the, I think one of the ones that is most black and white is that the hardship can't be based on cost. So they couldn't say, we don't want to do off-street parking because it's too expensive. So that couldn't be a factor. So there's others there for your consideration.
It's gonna be a covered
Yeah.
thing? Is it gonna have cover over it, like a little roof over the mailboxes?
Yes, it would be the, I don't think that detail's in there, but
No, it's not.
it was covered with a light and a trash can.
Okay, okay. Having had some discussion about trash cans lately, can you
sure it has a
describe the
lid?
trash can a little bit more?
I believe we also designed the crossing with the same developer, and the mailbox, well, kiosk there would be basically the same detail that we would use here.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Not the same trash can that they
I
use.
don't know what the trash can is, I'm sorry, but if y'all have opinions on the trash can, we can definitely work with y'all on that.
Yeah, and staff, when they submit the final details, they're only asking for a variance of that criteria. All other requirements will have to be met, and we'll make sure that it has a lid on it.
Okay.
Keep the raccoons and everything else
Sorry
out.
to,
Yeah.
have that detail, but.
Thank you.
Thinking we have to have a parking area somewhere.
No.
So I look at C. Not to want to give up part of a lot that could be used.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because even if they give it up, they'll still sell that lot. It's no smaller than the
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, they made that lot larger because it was there. So why not use that portion and square the lot up to the same size as the others?
I don't see it as a hardship. Come on, Debbie. Give us your opinion.
This area right there, that maybe it could use, be on the inside of the two streets. On High Garden Drive, maybe. On that lot number 7 there.
Lupe, if I'm not mistaken, the way the ordinance reads right now is that it would have to be off-street with at least 2 car parking.
Correct. Yes, sir. And that's what they're attempting to vary from.
And it will not be any parking here, right?
Yes, yeah. What they're proposing, it would not do off-street parking.
Can you pull up that, no, never mind, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about lot number 7? Is there any way to do something there to make that lot smaller? Street number 1 where it says?
I mean here.
Yeah, right in there.
That would place it between the homes.
Yeah, it really would. And what's the little island right there?
That's a
Just the median.
traffic median to direct in
Oh, okay.
and out traffic.
Okay. Or even in the corner of the stormwater detention or something.
Jeff, do you recall if the grading is pretty steep right away at the pond, or do they have some wiggle room?
Yeah.
So I guess to address both questions, so as we saw in that detail, the length of that turnout is 88 feet. That would actually go all the way across 7 and 8. It's pretty large.
Yeah, and you can't make it any smaller than 88 feet for a turnout like that.
Well, you maybe could, but having 2 car lengths, that at a minimum is 45 to 50
40,
feet,
yeah.
but then you got the transitions in
Right.
and out, so it would cover up all of 7 and most of 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then stormwater detention, it's pretty much all being used for volume for the detention.
Back to my son's, I don't have any experience with it, but back to my son's subdivision, they have it actually on the corners.
Yeah, even those little curved corners.
Mm-hmm, but that's
spots right
how
there.
that's where they are in his neighborhood.
Well, you're trying to incentivize people to park at home and then walk to them rather than drive by on the way home and pull over and.
Right.
I mean,
pick
that's
things
what they
up.
did in Colorado.
Yeah, that's a
So-
different world, yeah.
But, you know,
In the snow.
Or at least it gets it further back from Laredo Street. To do something like that.
so the way I see it is we either accept it or deny it. We can't make any changes. Is that correct?
I mean, you can recommend approval with changes, or just denial, or approve as presented. So
Okay. Or can we ask for more more options maybe and table it, to look at more options?
We'd have to deny it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think at that point you would just deny the request.
Can you show the, if this didn't pass, he had an alternative? Can you show that?
So here's that island.
Okay, there's the island, okay.
Hillside is 27 feet wide, is that what I see?
Yes, sir.
Is that street designed for two-way traffic and parking on both sides? What's the minimum width of a street for?
So backup curb is 28 feet, but that includes the foot of the rollover curb.
Of the curb, yeah.
So this is a residential street, so they are designed to accommodate one car parked on one side, and generally that's meant to be temporary, but it does accommodate.
We all know how neighborhoods are in temporary parking in front of the house. I mean, because access to the homes on lots 3, 4, and 5, their driveways are going to be across the street from potentially where people are going to be parking
Yep.
for 5 minutes to
Yeah.
get out and get their mail.
Mm-hmm.
What was the not favorable in the High Garden Drive? Why was that not considered in the middle?
It's not in front of the house. When they put it on the other side of that
Oh,
street,
yeah.
there's no house on this side, right? If they put it here, everybody's coming in this way, but there's no living space. If you do it here, you're right in
Well,
front
it's
of
going to be
somebody's house.
two-way traffic, though.
Yes, there will be two-way traffic, but the box won't be in front of someone's home. It will be if you put it here.
What is this? Is that that's the detention?
That's the D10. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Couldn't go.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah, and I guess that'd still be in front of somebody's house
Mm-hmm.
and driveway.
I think that both options are probably the most reasonable to avoid it being in front of someone's house.
Correct.
They both have flaws. With Laredo, you do have that the fact that you may have to have someone turning around on Laredo to get in, or vice versa. But either way, you're going to have traffic. But I think the fact that there's no homes on the east side of Hillside, I think that's the lesser of two evils as far as traffic on Laredo. Personally, when I back up every day out of my driveway, there's always someone parked on the street, so I actually have to go the longer way to get out to the main road. But I think with the mail, typically people aren't going to stay there. I think that long of a time for checking their mail, but but I think either options I think are good alternatives or good options.
What about that corner where, I don't know if I can read this, Hillside and Hill Garden meet? And there's no houses there, it's just a square spot.
I think that's
Right there, could that be a sort of a pass, a drive-through?
Where is that? Deal?
Okay, like right here? Yeah, right there.
Oh no, there is going to be This is the future phases.
Oh,
so
okay, okay.
This stubs up so that there will be
Okay,
there will
yeah,
be homes
there's
there.
a house.
Yeah.
Well, it sure looks good.
Yeah, I have. I'll pull up the overview so you can see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, now I see what you're talking about.
Even in this site, that's going to have to accommodate a driveway for this home, and so these spots really are the spots with the least conflict that'll accommodate the majority of the homes for those initial phases. That's why the other one also works well for the back half, because it's not. These lots aren't deep enough to actually put homes on, so
Okay.
you have a little bit more options in the back halves of the subdivision. You have one common area here and one here. But for the initial phases, I think either on Hillside or Laredo.
But the piece in Phase 4 still won't be big enough for a two-car pullover.
That's what he said earlier.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing.
I think that's at least 80 feet right there. A little over 80, probably 90 feet from side to side. So you probably could do it there.
Okay.
Can you go back that way on the drawing? So you couldn't do even this little spot right there?
No, that's the detention pond.
That's the detention pond.
Yeah.
Not without you can't put the two-car pullover there.
Okay. Yeah, because originally I thought maybe right there, but then
That
looking
pond
at
goes edge to edge over there.
Okay. Build it in the common. Can't do that.
Well, you've got 17 acres to start with. They should have put this in first. And then maintenance.
They make lots first.
I think that our cluster mailboxes need to be taken into consideration from the conception of the property. Agreed. Before we start doing plats and everything else, because we're seem to be meeting consistently on making a variance on it.
Or the post office could go back to delivering mail to individual homes.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
But that's not gonna happen.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I move we reject the subdivision variance application submitted by Anti-Development for the variance application for the Chapter 10 subdivision regulations to alter the location of the cluster mailbox.
I second it.
You have a first and a second to deny the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 None opposed, motion carries. Brings us to item number 6, which is consideration and possible action on the final plat application for the subdivision agreement submitted by the City of Navasota by Ante Development LLC for the development of a 31-lot subdivision titled Hidden Hills Phase 1. The property is located along LaSalle Street in Navasota, North LaSalle, Laredo Street and North LaSalle, Business 6, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868. The property effect is legally described as A0002 D. Arnold, Track 11, Par 10, acres, 17.675. Luke?
Vice Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission, so you are now considering a final plat for Phase 1 of Hidden Hills. As part of the Chapter 10 subdivision regulations, when a developer wants a final plat approved with not all of the public improvements completed, it is required that they enter into a subdivision agreement with the city. They have to post a cash escrow totaling the amount of any missing infrastructure. And so in this instance, they're missing 3 key areas, or three key public improvements, which is street lights, the cluster mailbox area, and the electric infrastructure. And so all those things total $39,288.40. They have agreed to enter into the agreement. They have posted the escrow. And so it is for Planning and Zoning Commission consideration whether that escrow be approved and the final plat be approved. And this is where staff would note that if the final plat and subdivision agreement are approved, that it be contingent upon the result of the subdivision variance that you just voted on the last item. And I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to drive out there, but the subdivision looks great. Sidewalks on both sides. I mean, they really did a great job. Public Works staff did a really good job on inspecting the project throughout the whole process, and overall, staff couldn't be happier with the result. Essentially, by approving the subdivision agreement, it allows staff to file that plat, which creates the lots, and it allows the developer to start building homes. So, and we hold those dollars until those things are completed, and we refund that money back.
Lupe, if I just understood you right, since this is supposed to be accepting the final plat, and everything is not up to par, if we approve this, it would then not have to come back to us. City staff would take care of it from there.
Yes, sir. So we would ensure that the street lights, the cluster mailbox, and the electric infrastructure is installed. And of course, that's underground infrastructure. We've done similar agreements for Pecan Lakes, I think phase 3 and phase 2.
With those items not being already done, is it just trying to move faster, or why is that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're wanting to start putting homes on the ground, and both the street lights and the infrastructure both are supplied by Entergy, and so I think logistically they're just trying to get ahead as much as they can.
Any other questions or thoughts?
Lupe, how does our vote on the cluster mailbox affect this agreement?
It doesn't. Like I said, the escrow has already been posted.
Okay.
If council ultimately also declines
Right.
the variance, then we would probably just bring back the final plat on the 27th, the second meeting of this month, with
Okay.
with whatever changes are made.
Understood.
Or he can go with the alternative.
Right. He would. So he would probably. I'm assuming that if it's denied, they'll go with the alternative off Laredo. That would meet all the criteria.
Does that change your escrow?
No, I don't think so. They both kind of are in the
Okay.
same ballpark.
Just asking.
The subdivision agreement, it's drafted by our city attorney, and so they have a way with words, and there's a disclaimer in there that any increase or decrease of costs are all covered. So.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the final plat application submitted by the Anti-Development LLC and Development for 31 lot subdivision titled Hidden Hills Phase 1 properties located along Laredo Street in North LaSalle, Business 6, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868. The property affected is legally described as A0002D Arnold Track, 11.10 acres, 17.675.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Does the motion and the second include the subdivision agreement?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None. The motion carries. Brings us to item number 7. Discussion, consideration, and possible action for the preliminary site plan application submitted by the City of Navasota by Jonathan Bacante for the property located on 608 South LaSalle Street, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868. The preliminary site plan application requests to allow for the development of a parking lot as a primary use and a permitted use listed under Article 9B-1, General Business District. The property affected is legally described as Camp IM Block 10, Lot 367, PT, part of LT1/8.
Vice Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission. The next item is a preliminary site plan application submitted by Jonathan Vacante. In your packet, you have the final or the preliminary site plan. That also includes an exhibit attached showing what type of fence material will be utilized along LaSalle. And Mr. Vacante is here tonight if y'all have any questions.
John, you go ahead. And just state your name and address, please, John.
Jonathan Vacante, 303 Teague Street, Navasota, Texas.
So this parking lot would serve to, just for the overflow from what you have now?
Pretty much, yes. It's pretty multi-purpose. But majority, it's for everything that gets built up across the street. So this would be, for me, phase 1 of a bigger picture of building a nicer, newer shop to look a lot better.
Okay.
But because we cannot do that, obviously, if we have no space.
So the vehicles that you currently park inside that chain link fence there are the vehicles you're talking about moving across the street and parking there?
Yeah,
Okay.
for the most part, yeah. Because there's there's vehicles inside, there's vehicles on the outside, there's trailers, trucks,
Yeah.
there's,
So basically, like if you'd be towing in, wrecked vehicles, whatever, I mean, there's enough turnaround in there to get to what you need to do?
Oh, yeah, yeah, if you look at our lot now, and we do it, we're almost to the point of stacking them on top of one another.
And so the fencing that you're talking about, where would that go?
So basically, the two empty lots, well, one of them's on the front, which would be LaSalle. The other one is technically considered Farquhar. That whole thing would be fenced.
Okay,
That would be the privacy fence,
It'd be a fence that you
the
cannot
vinyl
see through.
fencing.
okay.
Yeah, that's the whole goal, and that's been my goal for years and years, is I don't like the way my place looks right now.
Okay.
I don't want it visible, so that's the goal, is to hide it to where it looks better.
Okay.
And like I said, eventually, when we accomplish this, the white building that's, you are familiar with my shop, obviously, the white building next door, that one is going to be tore down. Of course, that's a whole nother project that I'll be in for, because our goal is to build a new shop along the front side, to where even in the future, when we're have cars that we are working on that are over there, they're behind a building hidden, so you never really see any kind of cars or any kind of mess or anything.
And then, I think Jeff has mentioned earlier that the privacy fence, you want it to be 8 foot.
I would prefer 8 foot, just to, so you can't see anything.
And then the side fencing, that would be, I guess, a wood picket fence, or like, that would
Yeah,
run
so-
behind the church?
So, yeah, I wasn't gonna do, because I'm still checking into this type of fencing, trying to get pricing and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how bad that's gonna be. I'm having an idea, but basically, as you drive by, you would see this type of fencing. If people on the side, you're not gonna see.
And then the
that.
wooden fence that's on the side of it, that would be an 8 foot privacy wood fence as well?
Yeah, if I'm gonna do 8 foot, I'm probably gonna do 8 foot all the way, just so it's symmetrical, and
Okay.
as well as on the front, in the image we planned on doing. Of course, can't tell you what the design of it, but we're planning on doing some really nice flower beds, trees, and stuff up there to make, even though it'll be a nice fence, it'll look better with flower beds and all that
Sure.
kind of stuff. I'm big on keeping my stuff clean and neat, and that place has been a goal for a long time to clean it up.
So the detail that you have on this fence, I know it's not in the purview of our speaking or decision-making right now, but basically you would carry the same architectural features or the spirit of the fence from one side to your new building that you would, once you tear down the beauty shop and then your old shop and build a new one up, you'd think about having a wood privacy fence there, or would you go with something very similar to what you have in the front here to kind of have continuity between
On the new, as far as the new building across the street, there's, well, of course, depending on how it goes, there's not gonna be a whole lot of fence, but if you're talking about the building material, that'd be the goal, to kinda match it, I guess, but not get too
Okay.
crazy as far as.
Well, I mean, like I said, that doesn't have anything to do with what
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
discussing
no,
tonight.
but I get what you're saying, to.
Yeah.
So, John, I think Dilla asked a question. The picture of the fencing that you have says it's gonna be on Farquhar Street?
Oh, you mean as far as using this on the backside as well?
Yes.
It wasn't intended. I was gonna do just a nicer privacy fence back there.
Okay.
How will you enter? And-
There's two entrances. There's one on the Manley Street side, and then one on the back of Farquhar.
Okay, okay.
Which on the back, we would have to make a wider driveway, of course, fix sidewalks, and clean that all up.
And then I guess a detail also worth noting is that the privacy fence is going to be set back, not in
Oh,
front of
yeah.
the church.
Yeah, because that's one thing I hate, when you're trying to pull out of a street and you can't see. So I'm definitely not going to block any views. It'll be, within reason with their where the church is, kind of in line, so it's not in any kind of way affecting any views or anything.
So Jeff, the setback right now, you know how many feet that is from the road to where the proposed privacy fence would start on LaSalle Street?
13 feet,
How long?
13,
13 from the curb?
yes.
Is there there's full sidewalk there? There's no
4-foot sidewalk
there's
right now.
Right now, there's a 4-foot sidewalk. Okay.
It's also proposed to widen it to 6 feet to meet the 6-foot requirements in B1. So there is actually a 2-foot strip along the 4-foot.
Yeah, if that's what y'all would want, we can. I didn't think it would look really well with a small portion of 2-foot extension, but that's totally up to y'all.
Yeah, they look a little odd.
The sidewalk over there is actually, from what I remember, it's in pretty good shape still, as far as not busted or anything like that. The backside is definitely gotta have some work.
Lupe, did you have to notify any of the neighbors in the area?
And no, sir, since this is a permitted use in B1, parking as a primary use, only the standard 72 hours, post the agenda, post on the website, post outside the city hall.
Have you talked to anybody about the Lee Tabernacle Church about your ideas about what you'd like to accomplish there?
No, I never see anybody over there, but I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't honestly at that point, I never even realized that I was gonna be doing all of this, because when we bought it, it was already zoned commercial. There wasn't any permit for fencing or anything like that.
Sure.
So I didn't think anything of it. Then we were notified pretty early on that we need to do something, which is why we're here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Jeff had his hand up.
I have talked to them fairly extensively.
Oh yeah, that's right, you did.
The situation is that John Davis is pretty much in charge. They've lost Arlo was their minister, they've lost him. They're not any longer affiliated with the Methodist Church, and they don't know what's going to happen. They are looking at trying to sell the building, but they're not going to be a church anymore.
It's got a historical marker on it, I think Debbie
Sure
said.
does, yeah. But as a church, it's tough because they can't put a lot of things in there because you gotta go up steps. You can't take a casket up and down steps. You can't, because of the ADA, it's very difficult. It's $100,000 to put in an elevator.
Right.
And they're down to 7 members.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Bad situation.
So this existing wood frame retail shop, is it active? I mean, I've driven up in the parking lot there thinking, what is this?
Well, it actually is leased,
It
a portion of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we split it in half. I use the back side of it, and somebody rents out the front of it.
Okay.
So currently, it's not a person that's per se retail, but that doesn't mean they can't move out tomorrow,
Right.
and it would be retail.
Kind of a nice looking building.
Oh yeah. Got beautiful trees all throughout that property.
It does. So you'll be, I mean, will there be fenced to separate your cars and vehicles from this wood frame building, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. If you look at do y'all have the?
Big sheet?
Yeah. So if you look on there, towards the front, like or next to the flowers in the front, you can see right there
Okay.
roughly where the fence is going to come, and then it'll cut back behind the house
Yeah.
and all down the, what is that, see which side it is, where the beginning of the church all the way back to Farquhar, that's fenced, across the back fence gate, then it comes up, and it'll be completely fenced all the way around.
I think it'd be nice.
And we shouldn't have no issue doing it without touching any of the big nice trees that are there. They won't have any kind of problem for us, so we're gonna keep those.
Thanks for printing us this big printout, man. I'm not just spending time.
I'll be really honest with you, this is not my department. The car's broke, I can fix it, but when it comes to this and having time to prep the stuff, I have reached out for help, and he's been a lot of help trying to get this lined out.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the preliminary site plan application requested to allow the development of a parking lot as a primary use, a permitted use listed on the Article 9B1 General Business District. The property affected is Legolas Drive as Camp IM Block 10, Lot 367, part of Lot 1 and 8.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
please vote saying
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries.
Nice job, really.
So then we'll go to item number 8, which is consideration of possible action on the approval of the minutes from September the 22nd, 2022, as presented.
Move that we accept the minutes as presented.
We have a motion
I second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Motion carries. Leads us to item number 9, which is adjournment at 6:57.